Sburb For Dummies.
So, now you've gone through some gates, met your internet buddies. Did they look like you pictured them? And now you're back to where you started. Now it's time to go out there and plan some mischief. To explore Sburb far and wide, make friends, break things, get into fights, scrums, and whatnot. So let's throw down some basic questions about the early game. Don't worry, we're almost done going over things which will instantly kill you.
06A. Exploring your land.
Question. I don't like my land. Can I get a reroll? Sure, let's hit F5 and refresh the entire game installation. No problem here, none at all. Serious though, you get what you get. Tough luck, buddy. Question. My title is lame. Totally doesn't suit me. Is it possible Sburb made a mistake? Hey, you know what sounds cool? I should be the Knight of Death. Yeah. First of all, death is not an aspect in Sburb. Secondly, there are no known glitches in title generation. And what you get is what you should have. Sburb rolls are challenges. They're not meant to suit you. They're only meant to be the worst thing you could ever get. Imagine you're back in 6th grade and the teacher plans the class before a play, right? Then he decides that he should pick the roles, and everybody ends up with the worst choice. As if the teacher wanted this play to crash and burn. That's Sburb. You're welcome. Note, titles are a convoluted subject. Apart from being hard, titles can mean many things. They can be something you want to be, something you fear to be, something you can't be, something you pretend to be but aren't, something you don't want to be but are, and so forth. Please refer to Narcoleptic Scribe's 24 pages long essay on the subject for more information. Question. I'm being told by the sprite and consorts that there's something wrong with my land. Why did I get a broken land? No, but not a bug, actually. All lands have something wrong with them and the player must fix it. This was part of the main question called terraforming. Question. When my consort's a sprite tried to name my land, one of the words comes out all garbled. Bug. Your land was generated with the frog thematic. All sessions require a land with the frog thematic. Sburb ensures this by generating a land and then adding an extra of frogs at the end, effectively making it a land with 3 names. Of course, Sburb's coding does not support this. Who thought this was a good idea? Anyway, the last 2 themes of the frog land are always squished together and turned into a garbled mess. The lands function normally otherwise. Note, sometimes the game may ask you to say out loud the name of your land. This mostly happens during carapace ceremonies and when performing the knell. Just look around your land and try to guess what's the missing thematic. You'll have to announce your land as the land of X and frogs. Question. I'm only being told my title when speaking to consort sprites. I don't know my aspect. I can't find my aspect symbol anywhere. Nor will the consorts or sprites talk about it. Bug, you're the player of Void. The Void aspect has a long history of not being found, including by near-omniscient game abstractions like sprites and denizens. You won't be able to find your aspect symbol anywhere in Sburb, except in your own god hoodie after you ascend. Don't worry, it looks okay. Some kind of weird broken up circle on blue background. Question. I keep getting called by a different title or aspect. Bug, you're the player of Mist. Mist stands on the opposite end of Void and represents things that are many things at the same time. This aspect bugs dialogues. You are being confused for one of your friends and the game is using their title or aspect when referring to you. Luckily, Mist is not as badly glitched as Void. You should be able to see your symbol laying around to confirm your aspect. It's like some kind of rhombus. Note, if you want to confirm your title, you will need to be a bit tricky with dialogue options. Find a talkative consort, sprites are too likely to be cryptic, and ask the consort who are the heroes of Skya. Or something like that. If you make it name all the players in a row, you can't be confused with somebody else. The last player to be named will invariably be you, the X of Mist. Question. Where am I supposed to get food from? Well, do you feel hungry? Didn't think so. The healing things that your sprite gives you count as food. Well, in a weird manner since all excess is lost instead of making you a fat ass. As long as your sprite is around, food is accounted for. Oh, did I mention that your sprite will invariably die or disappear? Oops, spoiler. Once it happens, you'll need to employ alternative means to sustain yourself, the most important one being the Song of Life player command. Question. Why did my sprite give me a pendant? Critical threat. Keep this pendant with you. It is important. It does not have any use when you receive it, but it will have a use later on when you learn player commands. These things are basically short songs that you play while wearing the pendant. They perform Sburb things like console commands. You're kinda fucked if you lose it. More importantly, this pendant is your first unique item. Even if you have a code for it, there can only be one in the session. This makes losing the pendant a good deal worse. By the way, you should avoid tempting any alchemy with this pendant. It can glitch your sprite and kill it. Consider yourself warned. Question. Wait a minute, something is wrong. My land doesn't have a rotation. The day is never going to change to night. How am I supposed to sleep? Normal. Sburb planets never rotate, nor do they get light from a sun object. The light comes from the sky, which is naturally glowing. You may be able to see sky above your house, but it doesn't glow that much. It's the sky's ambient light that decides the day and night cycle, and yes, there is one. Dozing will cause ambient light to lower by 5% per 5 minutes, reaching a lower threshold of 30%. Upon waking up, light levels will be restored by 5% every 10 minutes. Note, some desert worlds have the default light set at 120%. Alchemized suntan or umbrellas if you have sensitive skin. Consider investing grist in sunglasses if your land is mostly plains. Note, some lands are naturally dark, clouded, or consist of cave systems. These lands follow different rules, since the sky is out of the equation. They are generated as per the rules of underground areas in Sburb. These are lit by a plethora of glowing fixtures. Stuff like glowing rocks, crystals, televisions, flaming skulls, anything you want. Some of these items produce a special light called biophosphor-crystalluminescence. More information on the subject, please consult its associated chapter. Question. Do days never turn to night? Bug. The light levels of your land is coordinated with dream self mechanics. If your sleep ratio is abnormal, then you may find irregularities in your land's daylight. If you suffer from negative sleep ratio, dream self always awake, the game will never recognize when you try to sleep and it will always be day. If you suffer from double dream self bug, the light level may increase and decrease sporadically because of your duplicated sleep ratio stat. Note, alternatively, some lands do not have a day and night cycle because of their thematics. For example, if your land has light or night in it, don't expect a miracle. Question. I was exploring an area of my land and then suddenly got swamped by a million billion monsters. Critical threat. Sburb lands are divided in zones with invisible boundaries called ebb empires. These zones dictate the spawn rate of underlings, their behavior, and their aggression. The most dangerous of these zones is the atomic ebb empire. It is a death sentence. Walking blindly in these hotspots can murderize you without any chance of survival. If you find that enemies in a zone are suddenly very hostile, or that they wander towards you as if they cheated and knew your location, then retreat immediately in the direction you came from. Consult Chapter 11 for more information on ebb empires. Question. Is it possible that my land was generated with a bug theme? Critical threat. There are a handful of land themes which are critically batshit. For a start, if your land has angels or Gloggoth in its name, consult Chapter 15 on corruption. Oh, and stay the hell away from those guys. If your land was generated with pumpkin, you're in for a world of trouble. If your land was generated with a keyword that is a Sburb aspect, there will be major glitches if it coincides with your aspect. If you don't want to fall through the floor or get stuck in a wall, don't visit your friend's world if it has your aspect in its name. If a world has peace in its name, stuff on it will appear peaceful even if it isn't. If it has wrath in its name, everything on the world will freak you out as if it's hostile even when it isn't. Finally, some lands generate non-underling enemies. They are not dangerous, but it's a bit annoying because they don't drop grist. Question. So apparently the big bad guy of my land is a bully called the Denizen. Can I directly find that guy and punch him in the snout? Critical threat. You will die. The Denizen is not a boss that you can meet out of sequence. It's not even a real boss for the start. Nonetheless, if you meet a Denizen too early, its Sburb script will not be set up correctly and it will attack you after speaking to you. This will kill you in 0.0001 seconds. In order for the Denizen quest to work properly, you must complete the prerequisite quest. That is, you must perform the Knell, a quest where you make a huge sound to wake the Denizen and announce your stake for the land. Note, the Denizen is an important game feature. Noticeably, they offer special blessings when you cannot proceed forward in the game. These blessings are normally expensive, but the Denizen freely offers Denizen blessings to people who are about to die, which is what you are if you made a Denizen out of sequence. This boon can be used to help your friends or alter the real timeline in case you are in a splinter. It cannot save you, however. The game forces the Denizen to attack you after dialogue.
06B. Consort villages.
Question. When I try to come near a consort village, they come out and attack me. Critical threat. Do not strife. This is a minor scripted event and harmless. If you make the mistake of attacking a consort, you can kiss your land reputation goodbye. This will have all kinds of complications, so don't do it. And besides, you should notice that the script is a fake show. They aren't even hurting you. They're just lifting their fists and throwing weak sauce insults. This event will end after a minute or so, but if you leave and return, then it will begin again from the start. Just let them surround you and wait a bit until a consort with a fake beard comes out. It'll calm down the crowd and then announce that you're the chosen one. Then it'll ask you to confirm if you are the chosen one. If you say no, it'll just keep asking, "Are you sure?" until you say yes. After this, the consorts will be pacified into a normal village. No, the scripted event only happens to certain titles and aspects. Thief and Rogue, Rage and Doom. This may have something to do with the bearded consort saying that you may look like a bad guy, but you have a heart of gold, or something similar. Oh well, the important part is that this only happens once, in the first consort village encountered. Question. What about the small critters that are flying around? Are they consorts? Technically they're called land familiars, but from the point of view of the game's coding, they're consorts in most aspects. They are not terribly important. These little guys have a tendency to cling to people with high land reputation, and because of a small glitch with a land reputation variable, these guys always cling to players in their ascending. Question. I browsed the shops a bit, and one of them had prices that were completely bonkers. Bug? Actually, no, it's normal. This is the frame motive shop. Unlike the other shop instances, frame motive economy is globalized and uses fixed prices. Hence, why it has price tags involving millions, while the shop next to it will sell stuff in the double digits. You should ignore the shop for now. No, if you want to know, frame motives are some kind of musical game abstractions. You call their name out loud, they start playing, you strife in sync with their beat, and you gain major stat bonuses. That's the gist of it. Oh, and you greatly upgrade their effect by alchemizing a musical instrument into your strife up stratus. Oh, and you have to worry about timed hits and performing chain combos and using mixed up musics when fighting with your friends. As usual, Sburb makes everything too complicated. You don't have to care about all that jazz for now, but once you reach the mid game, monster difficulty progression will hit a spike, and you'll have to start using them a lot. Question. There's a consort that keeps spinning in place. That can't be normal, right? Just a minor bug. It happens because the land generates shop instances after generating all other consorts and houses in the village. Sometimes a shop is put down where a consort was supposed to walk and its wandering algorithm doesn't reset properly. Just talk to the consort once and it'll behave normally afterwards. Question. There's a weird bed in one of the consort houses. It's pretty much a slab of rock. The consorts say it's important. What is this all about? These are special beds called land beds. They are scattered across the lands, and they are semi-important. These beds increase your sleep ratio, and lazing on them has a good chance to lull you to sleep even if you weren't that sleepy. They're useful if you have business to attend at the Dream Moons. Note, bed objects are important in regard to dream self mechanics. See the facts section on dream cells for more information. Note, napping on land beds restores your lap luck last pluck, significantly better than vanilla sleep. Plus, they're actually a lot more comfortable than they look. Note, there is another kind of bed object which you shouldn't confuse for an everyday land bed. This special bed is found on a tall spire called the Pinnacle of Miracles. Unlike the land bed, it has raw decorations and your aspect symbols engraved on it. Oh, and there's a huge ass neon sign version of your aspect symbol floating above it, called the glow shape. For more information on quest beds, see chapter 21. Question. Is it normal that I can capture log consorts? Bug. Sburb does not let you capture like game abstractions normally, but because of a glitch, it lets you pick up consorts. Be careful with this exploit. If you capture log a consort and then drop it somewhere that is not safe, such as a dungeon, this will be treated as level 4 indirect hostility for the purpose of land reputation, the same as abandoning a consort during an escort mission. You'll have to grind on a few atonement quests to recover from that. To be safe, always drop consorts at another consort village or at a drawing spire. Note, when you have consorts in your solo decks, other consorts will talk as if they were around. Note, some dungeon entrances don't allow you in unless you're alone. If you have consorts in your solo decks, their door won't open. Question. I've seen a consort walk straight into a wall, then looked surprised, yelled witchcraft, and ran away. What's up with that? Bug, there's a secret passage in that wall. The game's too busy being a piece of shit to notice you haven't opened it yet. Just look around for a pressure plate, lever, button, whatever. Alternatively, you can just face the wall, shake your fist, and yell, "Open up!" in a very serious tone. This works for the majority of low-level secrets. Question. I just bumped into an invisible consort. It said hi, and I went, holy shit! What now? Bug, the game failed to load a texture for that little guy. This bug is rare and completely benign. In fact, there's a cool exploit where you can bring these guys in in-game dungeons to make them push buttons on the other side of laser fences. Just make sure to bring them back with you. They are easy to lose. Question. Do I really have to behold the secret consort? Yes. Question. What does that even mean? Beats me.
06C. Landmarks and structures. Offline.